So the second film on demand that we're going to be reviewing today is All Day and a Night, released on the 1st of May 2020, directed by Joe Robert Cole. We had Ashton Sanders as Jakor Abraham Lincoln, Jeffrey Wright as James Daniel Lincoln, JD, Regina Taylor as Tameta, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Big Stunner. A young man who committed a homicide deals with the repercussions of his action.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Hey!
Amari, were you entertained?
No.
Kyle, were you entertained?
Yes.
For fuck's sake.
Giles, were you entertained?
No, I wasn't. No, I was not entertained.
Right down the middle. I was entertained.
What's wrong with you two?
Gee.
Who wants to kick this one
It
off?
was good.
No, you two are kicking this off. Like, how?
I thought it was good.
Good where?
Kyle.
Good.
Everywhere.
Good.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I thought the storyline was good.
Have you
I thought the
bumped your
performances
head?
were good. I thought the messages in the film were good.
Let me disassociate myself with Kyle, because as much as I was entertained, I didn't think this was that great of a film.
No, I didn't say great. I didn't say
No,
great.
you said good.
He said,
I said good.
He said good.
Good.
Good means
I said good.
It was all right. It was all right. I'll give it that. It was all
I
right.
give it more than right. I say it was good. I thought the storylines were good. The performances were good. I thought the messages
They were
were good. I thought, again, we've seen these kind of stories before in terms of the hood in
There lays
America.
the problem.
Yeah, but it's I could see something, but I can still be entertained by it, even though I've seen it before. I did think it looked at it from a more product of your environment kind of standpoint, and not just gangster. They actually explored kind of why someone might become that way. I wouldn't say I've necessarily seen that before in many of these gangster movies.
don't agree, but okay.
All right. So what, do you think you've seen it explored from that way before?
I watched Snowfall. I didn't
Right.
think Snowfall was good.
Snowfall. I haven't seen that.
I didn't think that was great either, but it explained it in the same. It gave me more entertainment vibes than this, in explaining how his environment.
Snowfall's good, by the way.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that either. Who's in that?
Damon Idris. Is it just
Yeah, I think
Damon?
so.
Or
I don't.
I think that's his name.
But it's the what was it? Wasn't the first
It's
series
a TV
about-
series as well.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
But
not
I
a
mean,
film.
It's not a film.
no,
Nah, it's
How are
TV.
you comparing a show
because
to a
you
film?
asked about have you seen something?
No. A film
Yeah,
is 2 hours. A TV show
Well, that
is
film was about
over
15
how many?
hours. That film was
Nah,
about
nah,
15 hours.
Nah, you're taking a minute.
I
You're
can't-
taking
yeah,
a minute.
I
It was
that's
definitely half an hour too long.
Hold on. Let's call a spade. I don't think it's fair to compare a film to a TV series.
I wasn't comparing it, but I'm saying next.
No, but you were, because
No,
you
I
said
said
Snowfall
I haven't
gave you
seen
more
a film
entertainment.
that has explored it from that
Yeah, but I've
angle.
seen.
Yeah.
I'll just okay. Fair
And you
enough.
said
It's not a
you
film.
named a TV show.
So let's get into the angle. Because I agree with you, Kyle. I did enjoy seeing this kind of. It is the traditional. You're getting the you're getting the ending at the start, and then you're working your way back, and you're getting the two stories, present and past, running concurrently. We have seen that before, but what I did like about this was the explanation, as you say, of why maybe what has led him to get to where he's at, the decisions he's made, and now he's dealing with the repercussions. I thought that was good. So I'd throw the question to Mari and Giles and say, what didn't you like about this story played out in this way?
Okay, so firstly, that whole I've done like that old starting at the end thing is played out anyway. It's been played out. Like, if we're this movie would be classified as a hood movie. Yeah, would we all classify it as a hood movie?
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah. But I
the
did
most
think
part,
it had more
yeah.
depth than a typical hood movie.
No, but
Okay.
it is a hood movie.
It's a hood movie. Now, obviously, if we're going to talk about starting a film from the end and then retelling the story up to the events that got to that point, you're going to have to go back to Menace to Society. Yeah? Now, actually, if you've watched Menace to Society recently, it is one of the most budget films that you like rewatch it. It doesn't stand up well. It's a memorable film, but it does not stand
I
up
disagree
very well.
with that.
I
It
disagree
doesn't
with that
stand
as
up
well.
very well.
I would
I
disagree. with that.
disagree. I watched it. It's probably about 4 or 5 years ago, but I still gave it
Listen,
5.
I certain films they age, and they really do age, but it's because of what was available at the time. Like,
But then
Menace
my
is-
my question to you, Giles, would be, what makes a film stand the test of time? Then,
some films just do.
but
Some
what,
films
what,
just
but what
actually.
is right? Because
I don't know because do you know? Maybe that's a separate show we need to do. But for me, there's some films that you watch and you think, yeah, that it's not even about the subject matter, just the whole overall look of the film. They're almost timeless. Whereas some films some films are not timeless, in my opinion. So if we're talking about films that you like I said, an event, and we work backwards, you can't go. And as much as I'm saying thing doesn't stand up, like I said, it is one of my favorite hood films, but it's so much better than this. Like, this guy, what's his name? Ashton
Shakur.
Sanders? Yeah. He is the most unconvincing guy to be like everything he did, just his whole look was just unconvincing.
I'll agree with that.
I disagree with that.
He was like he just like without me even trying to like diss him or nah, he wasn't a guy. Like, he's meant to be this bad boy.
But do you know what,
gangster.
Giles? But
He's not meant to be a bad boy gangster, though. That's why I disagree.
And this was what I was about to say. I agree in terms of
So what was he meant to be?
Hold on. There were parts of his performance that I did think, yeah, you're flatlining here. You're flatlining here. But to me, I got the impression that he was trying to portray a character who is a bit of a recluse, who's gone through abuse, but who's also heavily influenced by his surroundings and his friend. So he didn't need to be that guy in that sense. He didn't need to be the one with the loudest voice, the biggest actions, the sort of the bravado. He was kind of like, say, it's always the quiet ones. That's how I would look at his
exactly.
character.
He wasn't really. He didn't want to sell the drugs. That he was robbing people, but I wouldn't say he was a gangster.
So he was a reluctant gangster.
Yeah.
Reminds
A reluctant
me
I
of
wouldn't even say reluctant. But
Well,
he
He
wasn't that part of a
Because the
gang.
reality
He
is-
wasn't that part of a gang. He robbed
but-
people and he had a very bad temper. But I didn't think, oh, he's part of a gang. He's a gang leader. He's a boss or
let's
anything
define
like
him.
that.
What was he? What was his character? Was he a bad boy?
He was a paper gangster. That's how I would define him.
Very much so. He was also a paper actor as well.
And again, as I say, there were scenes where I was like, yeah, I need more than what you're showing me right now. But
Like what scene would you say that?
all right, so
What?
the scenes for me, like, okay, so let's go straight to the end, or to when he goes to Big Stunner and he says, "Oh, do you know what? I want to sign up." It was almost as though, and I guess he is a weed smoker, but it was like he was high throughout the whole film. And there were scenes, no, because I'm being serious, there were scenes that were like, this would have been a scene for me to really, you could have shown some more emotion to your thinking or to your actions. Like we saw when he realized, oh shit, I'm gonna have to get in the game, I'm gonna have to go and do this stuff. You saw a bit of that come through, but then it was like the scenes where you might have expected it, he was being more subdued. And that's where I was like, this is maybe where you could show more sides to your character. But I don't know, maybe he was just trying to be that sort of reclusive.
That's what I got.
laid back throughout the
I
whole
thought
thing.
of him like Michael from The Wire. I didn't think Michael from The Wire was.
Michael
like,
had
no.
edge. Michael had edge.
No.
You knew, bro.
I disagree.
And Carl,
I disagree.
Carl, we just spoke about TV shows and films.
Yeah.
My man is Franklin. That's who he is. Especially in that first half of the series. Anyway, carry
I
on.
likened his character to him.
Okay, good. That's good.
In terms of, he was not really that bossy, bravado gangster. He was just doing what he needed to do.
Bro,
He took the ring. I took it from.
He was like a feather that kind of floated throughout the whole film, bruv. There was nothing. There was no anchor to him. Yeah, he wanted to be this rapper, but even that was all
Even
just.
that,
It was all he. And maybe I'll do my wrap up now because I don't have much to say about this film. Okay, like
I do.
yeah, well, I don't because I don't care to. I don't care about it. It was shit. It was one of the, like, I don't know what it was supposed to be. Like I believe some people might say, oh, but you know, this is like the 2020 menace to society. No. Or this is the 2020 boys. No.
and I'll speak on that in a minute as well.
It was just unconvincing. Don't get me started about his dad. Like, you know, Jeffrey Wright, good actor.
He has ability as well. That's the worst part.
He does. But yeah.
This is so strange.
Nah.
I thought both of their performances were very good.
Woo! It's the fact that you're still saying the son did a good performance is upsetting.
Yeah.
Carry on.
It did.
Nothing
was in his eyes.
Nothing about this film was good.
Nothing about
this film was good.
Now you know who was good?
actually-
The baby mum. I just thought she played her part well because I thought, shit, that shit looks real as fake as shit.
The
I
baby
know
mum
what I'm
played her
getting.
part well, and the dad didn't. How can you say that?
The baby mum. I didn't say his mum. I said the baby mum.
No, but that's why I'm asking you, because I'll agree again with Kyle. I thought that the dad played his part well. He was very believable. The scenes where you kind of saw how he was raising Jakor, decisions he was making, how he was acting. Again, it's going back to that conversation we had a few weeks ago where it's like sometimes you don't need to have all the screen time to really leave a lasting impression. But I thought his dad did that. The scenes I didn't really like with his dad were the ones in jail, but all of the ones from the past.
But even with that though,
I
even with that,
agree with that.
Like, if the whole kind of the underlying theme is, I don't want to make the same mistakes that my dad did. That was his biggest conflict.
Yeah.
But then fucking make that the central theme of the film.
Yeah.
So start with bruv, the only kind of time you actually see him and his dad kind of have like a moment is at the last scene of the film.
And it was too quick and it was too
bruv, like no.
And this was my thing. This was my thing with this film. So I wrote a few notes. I wrote down, again, you know me, sucker for cinematography. I love tone, and I thought this film, for the most part, got it right. I felt this was shot very similar to Moonlight. So if you think back to how Moonlight looked, the way it transitioned through scenes, the way it introduced characters, the sort of the close-ups, I thought this kind of mirrored that. So I was feeling that.
Because he was in Moonlight.
Didn't know that. But what about the director?
One of the main guys in Moonlight.
Ashton Sanders is in Moonlight.
Okay, well that's that.
Yeah, he's one of the main guys.
I don't know if that has anything to do with the tone and the way that it's been directed, because I know that the director, he worked on Black Panther, did he not?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was whatever the link is. That's what I got. So it's just interesting for you to say that he was in both films. But I did like that, and it kind of set that laid back feel from the get go. So I was very soon into the film. I kind of knew, okay, I don't know how much action or gangster shit I'm really going to see. I think this is going to be more of a drama. But where I think this film kind of went into sort of wayward territory is, like you say, you're getting the past story, which I thought was very good, but to me didn't match up with the present story. And obviously I'm coming from watching A Prophet a few weeks ago, so I'm in that kind of prison film mode. Do you see what I'm saying? Watching this made me think of all of the prison films we've seen. Lockdown.
What was the one? What is the one with the three guys?
Which one?
You have the big black guy. You have the guy who ends up shanking the white guy at the end to recover. Was it Lockdown? Because there was a guy.
Yeah, it's not with Master P.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but it obviously when I'm watching a gangster film or a hood film and it's got that sort of the in jail, I'm kind of already like know what to expect. So I kind of know, all right, let's see where they take this. And that for me was where the lacking was, because like you said, Giles, the whole kind of message is following the footsteps of your father, being a product of your environment, making decisions, repercussions, and the whole prison present side of the film for me fell flat, even to the point where I had to go on Wikipedia to read what the turn was because I didn't get the fact that his boy was the one who set him up, because it wasn't, to me, it wasn't delivered in a believable sort of shit way. It was like, okay, oh, your boy snaked you. Oh, now you're gonna have a battle with him. Now you shanked it. It was all a bit. That's when it started.
I literally, mad.
But for me, that's when it started. I was like, you've lost me now because you've set off on a path and you've, ducked and dived and kind of tried to do too much that you've lost track of what the message you were really trying to do.
Even the way they explained the motives for his friend snaking him,
that made no sense.
It was weak. It was poor.
Yeah, no, it was. It
was like, because I'm what did he had a phrase because I think they replayed it when he said it in the car when he was driving. He said, "I'm a whatever I am, and I do whatever," or whatever it was he said, and that was the rationale as to why your friend of all these years, your lifelong friend, is now, about to get you killed.
Yeah, that
set you up to go and, like, come on, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying in terms of it just lost its way. It's kind of like they thought, well, we've got to end this and make it all make sense somehow, but you've spent the majority of the film building a story that you're now culminating with rubbish. So that's for me where the entertainment value kind of dipped. But for the most part of the film, I was entertained. Okay. Amari, you said you had a lot to say about
the film was like half an hour too long, clear as day. I don't care what you have to say. Like the fact that you can't tell me it did its main plot, or it did what it should have been its main plot, and it did these two sideways things to culminate in an ending that nobody fully got without going through wiki and having to ask a friend like who wants to be a millionaire. It's very clear that this film has lost direction.
Yeah.
On top of that, I enjoyed. I'm gonna call him Bertrand because that's what I remember him from Westworld. That's what I remember him from.
Can I just say, Mari's actually got elephant memory, because he'll remember these actors from the most obscure,
but not their actual names. He won't remember what they're called in the film. Not remember their actual names, but he'll remember something random about them from another film.
That's Westworld.
Continue.
Westworld.
Anyway, I enjoyed his scenes with his son in prison. That was one of my favorite scenes because it was like had a little sit down. It was telling them how they're gonna come for him. It will be through someone you trust. And then 2 scenes later, hey, his boys on the block. His boys from the block. And then they're having their own little who can shag who first war. And then all the things are just like, oh, we're not gonna do it, but we're gonna stand there and watch them. But we're not gonna watch them. We're gonna see who. And I was like,
it was silly. It was silly.
Didn't get it.
It was silly.
But the film was too long. I had to do a little pull up because I did doze off twice. Because I was like, it's slow, it's boring. It wasn't entertaining. Carl, fix your face. Like, it wasn't a good film. I'm sorry. Like, I won't even class it as a hood film because I've now decided that when I watch films, I'm gonna have to class them on their storytelling. So this is a social film. In terms of it's trying to explain to the social demographic and the social society that they're arranged in. It tried to do it in different ways. It did, you know what? It had too many hands and too many pies. He tried to do the race when he was working in the shop. I was like, Then it tried to do the prison system kind of. I was like, all right. Then it tried to do the dad relationship, and then the psychological trauma of him seeing shoot up some guy because he wouldn't give his dad the money. I was like, rah, give me one. And let me get it
and focus on it properly.
Get it, and I was like, "Rah, I must be Dr. Ock because I'm all over the gaff, all over it."
Juggling,
I feel you on that one though.
And then this main guy, this main guy wasn't good. I'm sorry, we'll just leave it at that. He could probably do much better in the future. I respect the fact that he's got this time. He will get new roles from it, and I hope he improves. And you know what? I expect him to improve. I need him to improve. That's what I'm saying.
As well as the director as well.
Oh, but we're not going to discuss that because I thought this is his first film or her first film.
But are you saying so? You're
not going to get better over time.
You're all in on the fact. So you didn't even from like a director's perspective, the cinematography, the way that the film flowed.
It wasn't a good flow
at all. at all.
No, it felt like
it was just.
it felt like random bits of
You know when you get
things
a
that happen just stuck
and you're
together.
like, yeah, you got a puzzle and you're like, oh, it don't fit. Let me chisel parts away and then we're going to get it expressed in. Like, oh, we got something together now.
Proverbial round pegs into square holes. That's literally what this film felt like.
I think you guys are being a bit harsh. I do agree that they tried to fit a lot into one film, but I did think the central point of product of your environment, that was a central point that was running throughout the film. Yeah, he tried to squeeze in too many things, but that was the main focal point. I don't see how you can say it wasn't.
Do you know the irony? If you say to me, his ride or die was a product of his environment, and that was where the storyline was based throughout. His boy is the way his boy was like, I don't want to get beat. I saw my boy got beaten up. That's never going to be me. I'm always going to beat up everyone. I'm always going to be top number one. That storyline makes sense if you're doing product of environment compared to who the lead was.
His home was
where
his dad was beating up on him.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, that was his violence and his aggression.
I understand that. But I'm saying in comparison to the two characters, he's saying that every time his dad was giving his son beats, it made him feel like
making him into who he was becoming. His anger and his aggression.
Okay, cool.
What are you saying? It wasn't.
I'm not saying that.
No, not you. Giles is looking at me like.
So you're saying that anyone who's got licked by their dad.
Listen, it is deep, but when you actually, if you sit down and have conversations with certain people that have got these kind of aggression, it does trace back to something to do with their childhood. It does.
Listen, I used to get my ass bust. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to get my ass bust. I ain't seen no inside of no Ross Clark prison, bro.
Not everyone is the same. Not everyone.
Okay, cool.
I'm not saying it makes you're gonna go jail, but it can influence your personality. Definitely.
And in this sense, you can't rule out the fact that his best friend was on it. One of his best friends, because obviously we have the other best friend, which obviously again is the
tugging on the heartstrings.
The token. Someone has to.
Well, I wouldn't even say it was tugging on a heartstring. Again, that was a commentary on the way you're treated as a soldier. That's what I saw from that.
But then it was like, was it cliched? Well, I don't even think it was good. I don't even think it was even good enough to be cliched.
No, but you know what?
Remember he said like, he's done everything right and he's ended up like this.
But you know,
everything right. Yeah,
but you know the way that they treat like veterans and stuff is bad. So I liked that angle personally because you go and fight for your country and you get nothing.
But did you need that angle in this film? Did you need this? Did you need the angle in this film?
I would say yes. I would say yes. No, I would say yes because again,
not everyone is bad. So it was showing that not everyone is bad.
And again, most of the time, if you want to look at it in the sense of right, so if we're gonna stereotype the hood, as it were, people aren't always going to assume that young black men may aspire to go and fight for their country or may aspire to do more than be on the block, be on the corner, shot in wherever.
But so ultimately, he didn't know.
No, but my point is, in terms of Amari's point, do we need that part in the film? I think yes, you did, because it made it a bit more realistic. Because they're a band of friends, they've grown up and they've gone in each, of their own individual routes. Two of those routes are very close together. One of them is on a complete opposite scale. And it just so happens that he did everything, as the guy said, he did everything right. But unfortunately for him, his cards were that he still got fucked up one way or another. So it was, for me, it was kind of a thing of sometimes whether you do good, you do bad, shit happens kind of thing. Going back to what Carl was saying about Jakor's childhood and why I liked the dad's performance was because I actually believed that he was this California gangster, that he was on the roads, he was from the old school, and he was now taking it out on his son, or his shortcomings he was taking out on his son and forcing him to be a certain way. Because when he has the little rhetoric with the mum and he's like, there's nothing else for him to do. He literally is molding his son to go out there and do shit. And then to top it off, for me, the cherry on the top was when you then discover not only is his dad pushing, his dad's using as well. And then to add Malcolm as the guy said, and I thought that's what I'm saying. There were parts of the story which I actually was entertained, as much as they were cliche or not.
Was unnecessary.
Sometimes I think cliches are good.
Unnecessary.
Why was it unnecessary?
Okay, so you're telling me that you from your little kid age until you're what? Let's say 13, 14 years older, give or take, yeah? You've held on to the guy's name and the guy's face for so long, knowing that your dad chooses to be the way he is, that you know this, that you now have said, I want to kill this guy. When you had the opportunity to kill him, you could have got the gun a long time ago because you was around those people for a good few years, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's an opportunity to kill this guy. Oh, you're
let me explain it to you. When you're ready.
2-3 guns. Yeah. Wait, let me kill the mum too. Yeah. It don't make sense. It does
make because sense. Again, and again, just to jump off of that, if the dad was a negative character, yeah, he had conflict about not wanting to be this negative character, but ultimately he becomes this negative character. But then he breaks into someone's house and fucking shoots them both and leaves the daughter without any parents.
No need to kill the mum, you know.
Go on.
This happened. Great. This happened.
That's great.
This happened.
This
civilians die.
This film is.
Let me explain it.
Let me explain it. There's the pool game rooms. No women, no children. Listen,
it happens. Does it not happen?
I took that, and the reason I enjoyed it was because I thought, you know what, he, as much as his dad is beating up on him, as much as his dad is causing him all of this, it's that classic dad is a son's hero. No matter what his dad has done, he's viewing his dad a certain way, to the point where he sees his dad, as Carl said, commit murder. That has an effect. That's psychological trauma, as Carl said. Now he's witnessed his dad, who's always come to him a certain way and told him how to be a certain thing. Now he's witnessing his dad abusing drugs. So to me, that scene where you see his dad driving and pulling away, it reminded me of earlier on in the film where he's being, the girls are saying, you know your dad's a fiend, you know your dad's, you know this, and he's like, don't talk about that. He's got that pride. So to see his pride get crushed, it to me made sense that, you know, there are certain moments in your childhood that you aren't gonna forget, that you are gonna hold on to, and that for me
holds on to it for all that time.
Because then murder the
guy. But I get to murder the guy.
I'll tell you
because to murder. Was it Malcolm?
Yeah.
I get that. Then murder Malcolm.
He wasn't a killer at that point. He wasn't a killer at that point. And then it's gone on. He's now grown up. He's been doing stuff on the road. He's now becoming more and more of a gangster, to the point where he's given in fully. He's fully fledged now. He's gone and sat in Stunner's house and said, you know what? I'll do whatever you want me to. And it just so happens that this Malcolm guy, the choices he's made, he's now become the opposition in the same area. So when he's given the chance to now kill him, he's now thought, this is perfect. This is someone that I've resented and I've held all these emotions for over all these years. Now is my chance. When it comes to his partner, I genuinely believe in that moment of rage, he thought, I'm going to take away you and your partner. The kid, that's the next thing.
And it does happen, is the point.
For me, I wouldn't say that wasn't realistic. I wouldn't say that wasn't realistic at all.
It was, if he wanted to kill Malcolm, should have killed him time ago. Done. That's the way I see it.
Yeah,
I think it's a build-up person.
Man's a bit weak and he's looking for an excuse to do it.
The bell.
But I like it because we're straight down the middle. So it's been an interesting conversation. I didn't know where this one was going to go, but it's obviously opening doors for a future conversation, which I think would be an excellent conversation on hood films in general, or like Giles, we said,
call them hood films. We're going to call them social films.
Social films.
Social films?
Yeah.
What?
It's about the social environment, the socio-economics.
Yeah, but when your cast is predominantly black and this film's set in a black neighborhood, they're hood films.
No, socioeconomics.
Okay?
We don't call black films white films. We're not going to call it a hood film. We're going to call it.
They're commonly known as hood films.
Yeah, but we're not doing common standards.
They're about the hood.
He's trying to be down the line, and I can respect that. So we will call them.
They're called hood films.
What was that, Amari? Social films.
Fucking social films. What the hell is that?
We might have to work. We might have to work on the title, but either way, it's going to be.
What is this? Question time. Social films. What the hell?
It's going to be a good conversation.
We're not calling it hood. I don't want.
Listen.
No,
they're known as hood films.
No,
just because you get everyone's name wrong, they're called hood films. Right? This is your opportunity.
Hood films. So yeah, we're not calling it hood films for that reason.
Okay, so when you watched Men's Society or Boys in the Hood, you called it a social film, did you?
Yeah, now I do, yeah, because I've learned.
Oh, now you do. Oh, now you do.
Yeah, when I was kid, I didn't.
Oh, now you do.
I saw black people running around on the screen. I was like, I can relate. Well, not to the screen.
Could you? Could you?
I've seen him.
Anyway, let's wrap this one up. Carl,
please.
What are you giving this?
I'm giving it 3 stars.
Fuck off.
It was a mixed film, man. It was a mixed film. I don't think you two have really told me why your dislike for it. To be honest, not really. Other than you saying there was a bit too many storylines. You didn't like the dad's
acting
performance.
From all above, apart from the baby mother.
Anyway, it's Carl wrapping up.
Yeah, so overall, it was another mixed film. I like most of the themes that were brought up throughout the film. However, they're just mentioned and never really explored in any real depth. The themes in the film are familiar and they are a bit cliche, but I didn't have any issue with it. I think the most disappointing thing in the film was the reveal as to why Malcolm was actually killed, as the anticipation had been building from the start. However, that was probably done on purpose to show the reality of the hood in America. People die every day over drugs and there is collateral damage. That's the reality. I enjoyed the performances from both of the leads. Jeffrey Wright has impressed me once again. I think his ability to blend into any role is brilliant and is actually a very underappreciated actor. I think he's very versatile in everything he does. Ultimately, I did enjoy the film despite being slow in some parts. 3 stars.
Nice.
It's okay. You could use that film. You could choose Jeffrey Wright for your actor spotlight for one of your films, innit? That's what you can do if you love him that unappreciated much.
Do you know what? I only want to choose leads for the spotlight, but he would be a good choice if we weren't just looking at leads.
All right, cool. 1 star, done. I told you already. Film boring. Fell asleep twice. Had to rewind. Telling me stuff. Get out of there. Telling me about it was a good story about the environment. Hey, listen. Let me show you my environment right now. Hey, Kid at Hood is a better story about your environment, and you're telling me this film is a good story about the environment.
You enjoyed Blue Story more than this, is what you're going to tell me.
I enjoyed YouTube Blue Story more than this.
The film Blue Story.
Nah, I didn't say that. I said YouTube Blue Story.
What was a better film?
What? Blue Story or this?
Yeah.
I get heat.
What did he say?
That is so disrespectful to this film.
What did he say?
I said heat because I didn't.
It's so funny that Amari's saying that.
Don't you even.
I know because I said Blue Story is not bad. I stand by that. But when I compare it,
whoa! What you said was even before we'd seen the film that this film was going to change the fucking world.
Yeah, no, I got something. Really lies.
You said
I got soul dreams, and I ran down.
Do you know what? What I'm gonna do just because I love you guys. I'm going to go back and find the voice note where he spoke so passionately about Blue Story without even actually seeing the film.
Hey, listen, I had faith. I misplaced the faith. It's okay.
Well,
now we're getting Russell Crowe films, so don't worry about it. You know?
I'm not. Go on. So you're saying 1 star?
It's 1 star. I'll give this 2. I did find myself enjoying the way the film was shot. I found myself enjoying a lot of the scenes with Jeffrey Wright playing the dad, and even some of the parts that Jakor was in and explaining his story and interacting with his environment. There was just a bit too many storylines going on, which ultimately left me in a confused state for the conclusion of the film, which, if I think about how the way the film started, it was straight into the action, straight into the story, which I really enjoyed. And then by the end of it, I left it, as I said, confused and having to check certain things on Wikipedia, which you should never have to do. And that's just how I took it. It wasn't sold to me in a way which made me thinking, oh, this is great, I understand the story. So that was a big moment, and it really upset me. Also, I don't know if the character of Jakor, I see, as I've explained, I see where he was trying to take it and what he was trying to do, and I can appreciate that. But just for me, it lacked certain depth in areas which I think would have made the overall story hit home a lot harder and made the film ultimately better. And were there enough characters in it? I would have been interested maybe to see a bit more of a reasoning, so a bit more character development for a reasoning as to why he was making the decisions that he goes on to make in the film. I feel that would have, again, ultimately made the story much more entertaining. So I'll sit on 2 stars.
I'm going to give it 1 star. The central character, Jakor, like, it's his story, and I just wasn't convinced by his acting. And I wasn't entirely convinced by his story. If you look at all the, obviously it's like, it is, for me, it is a hood film, despite what we're gonna rename it or may not rename it. It's a hood film, so it's set in the hood. But it's like literally every black male was, bar his friend who got injured, was just fucking negative. It was like there was nothing positive about.
That's the sad reality of certain hoods, though, in America.
I get that. I get that. So it's, but at least if that's the case, at least tell the story better than you did. Do you know what I mean?
Agree.
It's like, it's, again, you know,
it flirted to me. This film, it kind of flirted with certain storylines. It didn't go in deep enough.
It's like it skimmed over a lot of stuff. And like I said, I get the message you were trying to tell. You didn't tell it very well. Like, I get the whole, you know, product of your environment, trying to change, try not to be a product of your environment even. Like, I get all of that. So make that a central point of the film. Don't kind of tack it on and jump around a bit and think, like, a lot of films think they're cleverer than they are, when actually no. Just keep it simple. Like, just tell the story. Sometimes it's better just to tell the story in a linear way as opposed to going here, going there, going, like, it just didn't work. And if you are going to do that, you need a strong all-round cast. So you need a strong lead and you need a strong supporting cast. And to me, like, no one, not even Jeffrey Wright, who is probably the most experienced, I would say, put him down as the most experienced actor in the film. Like, why do you look, I know they say black don't crack, but why do you look younger when you're older, when you were in prison? Then, like, what the hell? Like, I just wasn't.
I disagree with that.
I just wasn't convinced by him. I just was not convinced by him. Like, yeah, I think they fell short.
So with Jilo's 1-star review, that gives All Day and the Night a TMRG star rating of 2 stars.
Those movie review guys.
Subscribe to the podcast and stream full episodes on all major streaming platforms.